A couple of years ago, I reviewed the Microsoft Surface 3. It was an Atom-based 2-in-1 that didn't have a lot of power, but did have a really nice display and a great form factor. I loved its 10.8-inch form factor, something I was wanting to get since then, but unfortunately Microsoft no longer makes it. Well, I found something that might be even better. It has a better processor, has the same 10.8-inch display, and the same form factor. Hey everybody, it's Andrew from AMD Tech, and this is my unboxing and review of the Chuwi SurBook Mini. Is this what the Surface 3 should have been? Let's find out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as I have a lot of exciting things on the way to the studio. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter for the latest updates. GearBest sent this over for my unbiased opinion. I'm not being paid or being sponsored by GearBest. The SurBook Mini comes in at $329 US, the keyboard's an additional $50, and the pen is an additional $15 or so. I'll put the link below for all three in the description below. Packaging is what we've come to expect with the Chuwi brand in its nondescript brown box. Opening the box, you're greeted by the Chuwi SurBook Mini itself, and it's very reminiscent of the Microsoft Surface 3. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. You get some documentation, it's in English. You get your power charger, which uses USB Type-C. There's an issue with that, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, and that's it. Now, holding the unit for the first time, this is feeling very premium, very high-end with its all-metal design. Very good job in terms of engineering and in build quality. Now, it comes with a pre-applied screen protector. I actually removed it. I don't recommend you doing that, as I don't think this is covered in Gorilla Glass 3. So don't do that. But I did it, and I actually am okay with that, but I don't recommend it. The SurBook Mini has 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of eMMC storage. And it's also powered by the Intel Celeron N3450 or Apollo Lake processor. Now, it certainly has less storage capacity and less RAM than its bigger brother, the Chuwi SurBook, which I recently reviewed a few months ago. Check out my review if you haven't done so. I'll put the link below. And it has a lower resolution display and a smaller display than its bigger brother, the Chuwi SurBook. This one has a 10.8-inch IPS LCD display with a resolution of 1920 by 1280. That's a 3:2 aspect ratio and 213 pixels per inch. And the good news is it's a bright display, and it's also a fully laminated display. Now, Chuwi claims you'll get about 450 nits. I don't think it's quite that high. I'm looking at around 350 nits, but it is bright nonetheless, making it good for both indoor and outdoor use. Although it is a glossy display, so keep that in mind. And it's the same aspect ratio and same resolution as a Surface 3 display, and that's not by accident. The blacks are very deep, the colors are very vibrant, it has no screen bleed, which is very good, and it also has excellent viewing angles. I think Chuwi did a spectacular job with this display. Overall, very good display. Now, it doesn't have thin bezels, and that's for good reason. Now, this is a 2-in-1, and you're going to be using this as a tablet, so you need to have somewhere to hold the tablet when you're using it with the pen and so forth. Now, I opted not to get the pen, and for good reason. Although it's only $15 or so on GearBest, I really thought that it wasn't really worth it, since it doesn't have any pressure sensitivity from what I understand. It's not much of a smart stylus, so to speak, so I decided not to get one. Now, all the ports are located on the right side of the device. You get a 3.5mm headset jack, 2 USB 3.0 Type-A, and 1 USB Type-C. Now, the Type-C port does display out, charge, and data, but unfortunately it's not Thunderbolt 3, and there is an issue with it, as because of the housing, it won't work with all USB Type-C cables, so that's a bit of an issue. The buttons are plastic on the top, but they have a chrome look. It's your power button and your volume rocker up and down, and lifting the kickstand reveals your micro SD card slot. You'll use that obviously for storage expansion. Now, the kickstand is made of all metal, and it has a very sturdy metal hinge. Looks like it will hold up well over time. It has a 125-degree viewing angle, and here it is next to its bigger brother, the Chuwi SurBook. They both have that very sturdy metal hinge. And the keyboard has a fabric material on the outside. Now it's a dust and lint collector and it's hard to keep clean. And that's very similar to that of the Surface line, especially the Surface 3 in terms of size and usability. And it has a very strong magnet. When connected, it really is a very solid connection. And it also doubles as a screen protector when closed, and it also has a magnet that will keep it closed, and it also activates the sleep-wake function as well. Now, as far as the keyboard is concerned, it's okay. It's not great, and it has about 1.2 millimeters of key travel. Now, it's a bit on the cramped size, and that's obviously due to its size, but overall, it's okay. You can certainly get the job done with it. I wouldn't say it's the best thing I've ever typed on. It's pretty sturdy considering this is a budget level keyboard that you would attach to it. Now, it's not quite as good as the Surface 3's keyboard that you get with the type cover, but again, this isn't bad. And unlike the Chuwi SurBook, this doesn't have a backlit keyboard, which is a bit of a shame. But again, not a deal breaker, but it would have been nice to have a backlit keyboard nonetheless. Now the trackpad I would say is just okay. It's not great, it's not a precision driver, and it's not the most responsive. You can do two-finger scrolling, and you can do Windows 10 gestures, which by the way can't be turned off. So just keep that in mind. But overall I'd say it's adequate. And there are two indicator lights on the keyboard, one to let you know the device is powered on, and the other to let you know the caps lock is on. And of course, this being a 2-in-1, you could always pop off the display and use it in tablet mode. And for this, I really do like this 10.8-inch form factor, the 3:2 aspect ratio, it really works well. Now I was a little bit disappointed in the battery. It has a 37 watt-hour battery, and under what I call normal use, 40% screen brightness, YouTube, Netflix, some light gaming, some light Photoshop, some web browsing, you're going to get around 5.5 hours, just a little bit shy of that. That's a bit disappointing, even though it only has a 37 watt-hour battery. Now to fully charge this device, it will take about 3 hours with the device off. So this is the front-facing webcam on the Chuwi SurBook Mini, 720p, 30 frames per second. It's not the greatest webcam. It's certainly not the worst I've ever seen, but it can be used if you want to use Skype, if you need to do some video conferencing. It certainly will work when you need it in a pinch. Let me know in that comment section below what you think of this webcam. It's certainly serviceable. Let me know what you think about the sound, the audio coming from the microphone. This is what it sounds like, by the way, when you're typing on a Skype conversation. So this has been the front-facing webcam on the Chuwi SurBook Mini. And there's a camera on the back. It's not very good. It doesn't take great pictures or video for that matter. Doesn't do great in low light situations. I wouldn't be taking pictures or videos with a 2-in-1. You know my stance on that. I've stated that in previous videos. That's just the way I feel about it. Now, as far as the speakers are concerned, they're located on the left side of the device. There is no stereo separation as they are on the same side. And they don't get very loud, and there's no real bass on it, so very disappointing in that regard. But let's hear it in action nonetheless. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And just like its bigger brother, the Chuwi SurBook, it has the Intel N3450 Apollo Lake Celeron processor, and it worked pretty well. Although it only has 4 GB of RAM, good news is it's running at its full capacity. Now, as far as the reads and writes of that eMMC, this spec of eMMC did okay. 199 on the read, 95 on the write. I'll take that any day for this spec of eMMC. Don't expect to be playing any AAA titles on this device anytime soon. The Celeron processor or the Apollo Lake processor is just not meant to do that, and there's no dedicated GPU. The built-in graphics just can't handle the high settings of a AAA game. But having said that, you can play Windows Store games such as Asphalt Extreme, and you could also do other games such as League of Legends on medium setting, and you can do okay with that. But the good news is when you're pushing the device, it doesn't get very hot. It has pretty decent thermal, so that's good news to report. So to bring it all home, can I recommend the Chuwi SurBook Mini? And for the most part, I can recommend it if you're willing to overcome some of the shortcomings. I like its display, I like its build-in quality, I love its performance for an Apollo Lake. It's very good. It's certainly better than the Intel Atom processor that you got with the Surface 3. The biggest shortcomings with this is the fact that the pen has no pressure sensitivity, the USB-C port has some issues as we discussed, the mediocre battery life, and the type cover is so-so. But with those negatives aside, I think this really fills a void left by Microsoft's abandonment of the Surface 3 line, filling in the blanks, so to speak, giving it a better processor, giving it USB-C port, and if that's what you're looking for, then it is worth your money. So what do you think about the Chuwi SurBook Mini? I like it. I think it has the form factor that I really love, that 10.8-inch display, the type cover keyboard, everything that the Surface 3 was, but with a better processor. This has the Intel Apollo Lake processor, the N3450, or the Celeron processor. It's not the most powerful processor in the world, but it's certainly better than the Surface 3's Intel Atom processor. What do you think about its price? It comes in at around $330. Add another $50 for the keyboard. And if you want to get the pen, which I don't recommend, by the way, then you're looking at another $15 on top of that. But again, that pen doesn't have any pressure sensitivity, and it's not something I would even bother with. But as far as a 2-in-1 is concerned, I love the display. It's fully laminated. That 10.8-inch to me was a form factor that I really loved with that Surface 3, and I'm glad I can get it in the Chuwi SurBook Mini. I love its all-metal build. The biggest weak points on this device is its less than stellar battery life and the fact that the speakers are located on one side of the device where there's no stereo separation. I think that was a big miss. Again, I'm curious to know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I like it. There are some shortcomings, but if you can overcome those, and if you're looking for a 2-in-1 with a 10.8-inch form factor, that 3:2 aspect ratio, you might be in luck with this. Let me know in the comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course our website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.